Apparently I'm on like a philosophy kick right now. Okay. Munchhausen Trilemma. Yeah, I have some issues with this one. Again, I'm reading off of Wikipedia, so if you don't like that source. Okay. In epistemology, the Munchhausen trilemma, also commonly known as the Agrippin trilemma, which is a fun one because in a second we'll see that it's not a trilemma at all. The Agrippin one has 5, not 3, so we can't count. Already, just out of the gate, we have problems. It's also slightly different. Is a thought experiment. Intended to demonstrate the theoretical impossibility of proving any truth. Blah, blah, blah. The Munchhausen trilemma is that there are only 3 ways of completing a proof. A circular argument, in which the proof of some proposition presupposes the truth of that proposition, which you see a lot. That is a real thing, very much so. A regressive argument, in which each proof requires a further proof. We'll come back to that one in a second. The dogmatic argument, which rests on accepted precepts which are merely asserted rather than defended. So, my conjecture here is that this is not a trilemma at all, but in fact, only one of these is really at play. The other 2 are just specific instances of it, just with particular extra details added. And that is that they're all regressive. A circular argument just regresses into itself, right? A dogmatic argument also regresses into itself, right? Because what happens, in like a circular argument, you'll get like, well, chickens are birds because they're birds. Well, why are they birds? Because they're birds. But why are chickens birds? Because they're birds, right? So it's like, that's kind of a really ridiculously stupid one, but that's basically the effect of it. And a dogmatic argument would be like, oh, chickens are birds because they're birds. And then it would be defended by, well, why? Because I said so. Well, but why? Because I said so. Well, but why? Because I said so. As you can see, this is the same. And a regressive argument would be, well, inside of a person making you work are smaller little people making you work. And inside of them are smaller little people making them work. And inside of them are smaller little people making them work. And you can see that these are all actually the same. This isn't a trilemma at all. There aren't 3 options. There's only 1. What the fuck are you doing? And then it gets into this like amazing thing where it's like, oh, well, it's called the Munchhausen trilemma because of some German dude named Hans Albert who was referring to its use by Karl Popper, and it's a reference to a story about Baron Munchhausen. But really, it's also known as Agrippa's trilemma because Sextus Empiricus attributed it to Agrippa the Skeptic. But Popper apparently didn't know about this. But Popper himself, who attributed to Jakob Friedrich Fries. So we don't even know, like, it ends up being an example of its own thing. Like, we don't even know where the fuck it came from. Just oh my god. This is stupid at every level. At every level, it's stupid. Dogmatism is an infinite regress. It's an example of that. And circularity is an infinite regress. It's an example of an infinite regress. It's just that it's not getting like smaller. It's just the same. Here we have one. Based on perceptual experience, Jakob Friedrich Fries formulated a similar trilemma in which statements can be accepted either dogmatically, via infinite regress or based on perceptual experience. How is that different than dogmatically? Like if I have an experience and I'm going to trust that, I'm trusting it dogmatically because I experienced it. Again, like, what are you doing? You're fundamentally failing to understand the words that you're saying. Yeah, that's it for this one.